Hey there, this video is part of a full online course right here on YouTube called Tofu Mastery. So I highly recommend starting from the very first lesson, which you can find here. Otherwise, let's get to it. Hey there, welcome back. I am so excited to teach you the recipe I'm about to teach you. This is my fishy tofu, and we're actually going to cook this in the air fryer. Now don't worry if you do not have an air fryer. I'm also going to give you the instructions for making the exact same dish in the oven, but the air fryer, when it comes to most recipes, allows us to get it ready so much faster. That is my number one reason for using something like an air fryer. This is going to be packed with flavor. It goes great with the sauce we taught you how to make in the previous lesson. So if you're making both, start with the sauce so that it gets nice and flavorful while you make your tofu. We're going to prepare our marinade for the fishy tofu, and one key ingredient that we're going to be using is Old Bay seasoning. This is so traditional when making seafood recipes that this is what's going to kind of transport us along with the dill and the sauce that we're going to add on top. And we're going to assemble our marinade. Now, you're going to hear me say this many times throughout the course. When we make a marinade for tofu, since tofu tends to dry up when we're cooking it in the air fryer or in the oven, for example, and it soaks all of that up, it is always a good idea to reserve some of the marinade and do a final glaze before serving, or add it as a tiny bit of sauce. This is gonna have its additional cream sauce that we made in the previous lesson, but this always allows for some of that taste to really pop at the end of the cooking time. So we're gonna start with some non-dairy yogurt. Any kind you can find, any kind that is available to you. Of course, we need lemon. What is a fishy tofu without lemon? About half a lemon will do. Some Dijon mustard. A little bit of sweetener to balance out the flavors. So this is agave. You can use maple syrup, brown rice syrup, any type of sweetener you have. Our Old Bay. Oh my goodness. This spice, if you can't find it in the supermarket, find it online. A big jar will last you a long time. It is so good. And last but not least, some miso paste. This is light miso paste, but you can use any type of miso paste you have on hand. Now I'm gonna use a whisk. We need to kind of break that miso apart a little bit, and it'll start diluting as soon as it's in contact with the liquid. And what we want is this perfect, really rich, creamy texture. Remember, again, to separate some of that sauce for when it's ready. So I've cut my tofu block in half, and this is just the firmest kind of tofu you can find. This is already pressed, and we are just going to cut some slits into the tofu. That's what's gonna allow all of that marinade to seep in and give us a kind of crispy exterior, but a really soft but flavorful interior. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut down, but not go all the way through. Now the thinner you can go, the better, but make sure that it won't fall apart on you, so you have to find that perfect width. And these are gonna be spaces in which all of that sauce that we made is gonna seep in. We're gonna also add some herbs in there. So good. I've placed it on a plate, and I'm gonna add half of my remaining marinade on top. And here, there's no elegant way to do this. You're just gonna use your fingers and start rubbing and start opening up carefully and inserting some of that marinade right into the slits. Now, of course, whenever you are making tofu, the longer you can marinate your tofu, the more flavor it's going to have. But this is a strong enough marinade that sometimes I cheat and I cook it right away, and it's fine. What I have here are some dill fronds that I've chopped up, and also some green onion or scallions. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add a little bit of each into every pocket. And this is gonna add not only a gorgeous look, but a lot of that flavor. And remember, dill is so great with seafood. Same goes for our fishy tofu. There are many reasons to love an air fryer, but the main one is that you can really achieve a nice crispy exterior in a very short amount of time. In an air fryer, we're going to cook our fishy tofu for 15 minutes. That's it, at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 205 Celsius. Now, if you do not have an air fryer, do not worry. The result will be the same, but the difference is that because it's not a small space with all that concentrated heat, we're gonna need to raise the temperature if we're cooking them in the oven and leave them in for twice as long. So in the oven, we're going to roast our fishy tofu in a shallow baking sheet covered with parchment paper and roast at 435 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 225 Celsius, for 30 minutes. Here I have my reserved marinade, and this is what I love about this recipe. If you didn't have time to make the sauce we're gonna use as a topping, this can serve as the sauce, so it makes it really easy. I served my fishy tofu today on a basic green salad. We love to have this on top of a salad as a protein source. And we've got lots of greens, really simple, just some cucumber, tomato, and avocado. You could add any dressing that you like, or just plain, olive oil, vinegar, anything you enjoy, or you could even use some of this leftover sauce as the dressing. Now I'm gonna add a little bit over my tofu just to boost some of that flavor that we infused into it. And now, my favorite part, I'm gonna use my dill and caper sauce as a nice topping. It's gonna make it look so stunning, and the flavors just go extremely well together. It's a dish that can really impress, and I have to say that as with any fishy tofu recipe, it goes great with fries, any type of potato dish, or like I'm serving here, just with a simple salad. And so those herbs you reserved, use them. And last but not least, serve with some lemon wedges. There you go, fishy tofu made right at home in just 15 minutes. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next lesson. Don't forget to show us your pictures when you make this dish. Use the hashtag brownball and tag us on Instagram, where we are at brownball. See you in the next lesson. That's so good. Thank you so much for watching. If you love Asian flavors in your tofu and getting a delicious crispy exterior, you're gonna love the next video. We're making Rachel's ginger sesame garlic tofu. Who is Rachel, you might be wondering? Well, you're gonna have to watch our next video to find out. This one's great for topping noodles, vegetable stir fries, and rice.